Hey, what's going on? This is Benjamin back again. Probably ain't say that the first time. I'm probably gonna have to, I don't know. I'm gonna have to spruce this up. I'm really just now getting into what people been doing over the years. I've always been like this person to always have an opinion about things, especially things that I see that I feel in my spirit is very contradictory to living positively. Amongst the things that I still do, right? Um, I'm talking more as a mass, but everything is connected, so I really can't say that either. So the last video, I was talking about the gender wars between black men and black women, and I was kind of thinking like, why is that even being pushed so hard? And then I started researching some of the guys and women in that space on the white side and seeing how big it was in their community, so to speak, internet wise, right? Not so much on their day to day living, but what they put forth on the internet. And it got me to thinking about uh, the whole feminist movement in the first place, which started before Rochester, but it really kind of grew its roots here in Rochester, right? With Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and a number of other people that were influential in that sense. Even I think Frederick Douglass was playing some kind of, apathy role with it. But once again, what white people got going on with their men and women has nothing to do with us per se. People blame the black culture for a lot of things and the black community for a lot of things, but the black community ain't been the black community since integration. So we're talking about back in the 60s. The black community has stopped being the black community once you integrate it. And we still try to uphold that even after that. The 80s was very powerful, the 90s was very powerful, the 70s was very powerful, even kind of like early 2000s was kind of powerful. But through each decade, it was just deteriorating. There isn't a such thing as a black community or black culture, so to speak. Black culture is the derivative of white culture, right? So when you're talking about gang violence and black on black crime, like it's plenty of documentaries, there's plenty of um, like docu-series based on American history, right? Dealing with the white on white crime that has been here in America, let alone doing world history and seeing white on white crime, Asian on Asian crime. You're seeing crime going towards people that is in your vicinity. It just is what the hell it is. It doesn't change. But the so called quote unquote black community, ours gets magnified. Because even though white culture, white American culture, influences the world, nothing influences cool but black folks. Nothing. To the point where you can have this East Indian dude somewhere in the country of India talking about he's a black nigger. That shit is wild, right? Not sure if you heard it before. I caught a glimpse, couldn't listen to it. It was just wild for me. Not saying that they don't have anything going on over there in their country, because they do, right? Indian on top of Indian. If you know anything about their caste system, I'm not sure where that gentleman was from as far as caste systems go, but nonetheless, they have those issues. But we want to just like isolate black community problems and generalize it. We don't individualize it. Even us as black folks do it. So especially when you come to black conservative talking points, when you come to conservative talking points, regardless, but when it comes to black conservatives, these are people that look like us. And these are also people that you get the flat blackness with. So these are people whose parents done came from, the continent of Africa, came from the Caribbean, the islands, right? And they look black, but don't have the descendant of slavery experience handed down here in America, right? So you get to flatten and you get to like monolith us when it comes to the bad behavior that comes. So when it comes to the sexy reds, when it comes to the Migos, when it comes to like the rap culture and things like that, All that is really an extension of is white America, man. We're trying to play it as if for some odd reason these black American Negroes are just so intelligent to create this new wave of wickedness that the world seems like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And that stems around everything, especially when you're talking about family life. I'm hearing a gentleman, um, a Muslim guy, I don't want to call him his name, I don't know his material all that well, and I don't know him personally, so I'm not going to call it his name or his channel page. However, he is refusing the fact that there is becoming now this conversation that black women and black men are finally getting to get exposed. It was a conversation we've been having, right? At least within the past 10 years. But it gets to get exposed like it is now via the internet and even via mass news media, which is crazy. And how it was used in mass news media was another way to kind of deflect and put blame on and point fingers to one another. The bottom line is, no matter if the passport bros, which is a thing, it is a thing, where so-called young black American men are getting their passports and they're leaving off of this rock called America and they're going to other nations and finding women either to trick off though with or to marry. Either or, right? And then you got our black women talking about divest. And it's very funny because these women, when they talk about divesting, they go straight to white dudes. They don't even talk about going to go to the mother continent and get a Ghanaian or Nigerian and stuff like that. They go straight to white dudes, which is crazy as fuck, right? So like if any demographic is gonna be fond of you just off your aesthetics alone, which really my women are the finest women on the face of the planet, point blank period. And that's when they take care of themselves, which a lot of our people don't, both men and women. But nonetheless, it'll be somebody who shares the same aesthetics comparable to you, right? But the black women divestors jump straight to not only just white men, but well-off white men. As if those well-off white men are pushing their well-off white women aside to get to you. They're not. Not in mass, there's small percentages, and there's always been small percentages here in the States and going abroad to like UK, right? Going into Europe. There's been interracial marriages and dating over there far before it got over here, at least, a couple decades or so, right? But all this politics stuff, all this community stuff, all that stuff wraps into the same thing. And the main thing that's the issue is that it revolves around family first. But for some odd reason, the internet is pushing for the information of men and women being against each other, right? In general, especially when it's coming to the knowledge of American men and women, and then like to narrow it down to black men and women, as if we're the most desired people on this planet. We're not. We're only desired for the aesthetic. We're not desired for who we are. The aesthetic is one small portion, the make it cool portion, but we come with so much more. But our value is in what we make cool. So on some real life, this whole black woman versus black man stuff, this shit gotta come to an end. At the end of the day, you just gonna have to realize that you come from two different family values. Maybe similar, maybe not unsimilar, but there has to be, like I said the last time, there has to be like this Venn diagram where you come in the middle and you swallow your motherfucking pride on both sides, both man and woman, and you live. And you live for yourselves and you live for one another. Don't be mean and idiotic towards one another. That's ridiculous. Are things going to become heated? Are there going to be tensions? Yes. Yes, that's any relationship. There's going to be tensions with you and the supervisor at your job, you and a customer, you and your children, you and your parents. There's going to be something that you're going to have a contention with. But to spend time and say, we don't need no black women, and the black women saying we don't need no black men, that shit is preposterous. Because there's not another nation of people outside of us that gets us, one. Two, that is looking to be with us at all. So I hope that was a little something. That was just my thoughts for the day. I'll check you next time. Peace.